Hey, I want to do a quick video on what I can see rising as some position is that the war in Gaza is not the insurgency you're looking for. The Hamas is not a counterinsurgency force. It has not shifted to guerrilla warfare using hit and run tactics, popping up out of tunnels in small groups and going back. That's what it's always been doing. Hamas is the ruling power of Gaza. It had a vast military before the war began of over 40,000 fighters, 24 battalions of light infantry, and battalions of rocket forces, with those battalions having assigned geographic areas and vast military resources from rockets to anti-tank, anti-aircraft, anti-personnel, mines, and over 400 miles of tunnels ranging from 15 feet to 200 feet underground. To say that Israel is fighting a counterinsurgency is just not true by definitions. You don't fight a counterinsurgency against the ruling power of an area that you weren't in control of before. Hamas was the ruling power, had all the institutions, had a vast military. In the beginning, it was more of a conventional or unconventional fight, but Hamas still used guerrilla tactics. It didn't stand with their battalions and try to hold terrain. It never has tried that. And thus far, this is the craziness of misinformation where people say, well, Israel's only killed half of those 40,000 because they measured the number of Hamas members that Israel says they have killed, which at this point is 14 to 15,000 Hamas. But that's a different metric than how big is Hamas's military at this point. It started with 24 coherent battalions and it's down to 4 battalions left in southern Gaza, the Rafah region. Of those battalions, you would have all the battalion leadership, the companies, and they could do organized mission. The definition of destroy is to degrade that military unit's ability to do its mission, attack, defend. That's what Israel has done to those 20 battalions they have destroyed, as in they've taken out all their leadership. They have taken away many of their resources. It has destroyed many of their tunnels. And yes, Israel has destroyed a vast portion of the tunnels, thousands of tunnel shafts, hundreds of tunnels, to include many of them the multi-mile long, 2 mile, 1 mile long tunnels that they have destroyed. And Hamas only has those 4 battalions left, but it's still in power. It has not shifted its tactics of holding terrain, or it has not shifted its strategy, which has never been to resist the IDF in conventional, unconventional, asymmetric warfare. Its goal has always been to cause the world to force Israel to stop so that it can remain in power. And that's what we currently have. It's not the insurgency you're looking for. All the ideals, all the military theory of counterinsurgencies, you have to win the hearts and minds. You have to create a better path for the population. You have to separate the insurgent from the civilian population. You can't create more terrorists than you're taking off the battlefield. All those theories that are very valid in counterinsurgency do not apply today. It is like saying that you can't remove Hitler from power, you can't remove the Nazi regime from power, you can't destroy the Nazi military and its will to fight, because you'll cause a radicalization of the ideology of the Nazi regime. It's just not the way that war works. War works in achieving a cognitive win through surprise, speed, and overwhelming military force to cause your enemy to lose the will to fight and to recognize they've been defeated. Today, Hamas, just a few minutes ago, said, I don't want to deal if it takes me out of power, makes me disarm. Today, Hamas is still in power. It's not an insurgency, and it still has military supplies that Israel has to go in and search and work to get from them, to include rocket supplies. Of the 15 to 20,000 rockets, Hamas has fired over 13,000 of those at Israel, and it still does have some of those rocket supplies. This is the ideal of what Hamas is, and then how warfare works. Yes, after Hamas is removed from power, That's where the clear hold build. And yes, Israel could have been holding and building in terrains they'd already cleared if it would have been allowed to keep massive resources in Gaza and continue the operation. And yes, after, this is why you can't measure the number of Hamas fighters from a measure of success of Israel. It's never the goal to destroy all the members of a military. It is to remove their will to resist. You can do that rapidly with like a coup de main, take their government, raise your flag above their Capitol building, and many militaries have just fallen apart, recognizing they've been defeated. Today, after Hamas is removed from power, yes, there are so many elements of counterinsurgency that will apply, to include reconciling many members of the surviving Hamas military, to de-radicalization, disarmament. All those apply. It doesn't apply today. It isn't the insurgency you're looking for. This is a war against Hamas, who is still in power. Hopefully some of that sinks in.